So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this evening for our home-based business class. We are super excited about sharing this information because this is something that has been on lots of people's minds. There's been Forbes articles about it. So many people right now are searching for home-based business, but they're a little bit wary. They're not sure, is it the right time or why? What are the benefits? And so that's what we're going to go over in this class. Why now is the perfect time for any business, really, but even a home-based business. Why health and wellness is the amazing route to go, and why Young Living is the king of health and wellness and the choice you should make. So before we hop into the details, it's always important that we share with you guys our story. And I want you guys to forgive me because I'm not used to sharing my financial story as often. I'm usually sharing about my physical story, so I do look at my notes a little bit, but just a little bit about me. So I come from the business world. My goal was to just help people. I'm very good at educating. And so when I went to college, I sat there they have all the tables of the schools, and I looked education, business, education, business. Business is going to make me more money. Let me go to business. And that's how I made my choice. Even though I really loved helping people and I really loved educating people, I ended up getting a bachelor's in business administration with concentration in marketing, did a lot in the international space, and a minor in Spanish. When I graduated, the market was saturated in 2002. And so I could not find a marketing job whatsoever. But my goal, my dream was to be a new product marketing manager. I wanted to travel to other countries and to introduce new products to them and all of the wonderful benefits. So I ended up doing a couple years in real estate management. And then I went into the most typical thing ever for Michigan, the automotive industry. So I was in supply chain. And so by all means, if you look at me from the outside, I am living the American dream. I am a six-figure earner in the automotive industry. I'm in the top 8% of earners in my county, and life is pretty good. I've been able to travel to Mexico, all over the Midwest. My job is flexible. Right now is working from home. My next steps would just be get your master's degree, become a manager, and have a car as part of your salary. But the flip side of that is that it takes a lot of time. And so I've also had where I've had to work 80-hour weeks. And people will come to me and say, well, can you help me get a job? And it'll be like, well, are you a bilingual automotive professional with 10 years? Like, it's not necessarily easy to help train somebody else to do what I do. I've had slew of illnesses due to stress, some gut issues, not being able to take care of myself when I'm working 60 to 80 hours a week. Almost even had emotional abuse at one point in time from one of my bosses, and I had to get moved out of that job. And so there's always the negative side. And what I truly want is to get back to where I'm able to help people on a regular basis. And thankfully, I do that in my volunteer work, and I love that, and that's so rewarding, but I'd love to do more. I'd love to go to other countries and do that. And so I'm really excited about getting my time freedom back. And that really is my why for spending specific time on home-based business such as Young Living. With that, I am going to share the presentation so that we can get into a little of the details. So again, we are talking about why now is the best time to start a home-based business. And we talked about my story. So here was something that was super interesting. These are companies that were created between 2008 and 2010. Now, you probably recognize most, if not all of these, and you probably use them. So I use WhatsApp with my international teams. I use Instagram on a daily basis. I know what Venmo is. I use Square regularly. Groupon is one of my best friends. I love to go to my massage therapist or try a new way of pampering via Groupon. Pinterest, I've used that on occasion. And of course, everyone has used Uber. So when we were in our last recession, these companies found a need and they solved that need, and they became companies that are now household names. So we need to remember that and keep that in our head. Just because it seems like the economy is having issues, that's actually the best time for you to get into something if you can solve a problem, if you can fill a need. But why network marketing? A lot of people have a negative connotation to network marketing. And to be perfectly honest, I tried network marketing twice before this, and I did not think that network marketing was going to be the vehicle for me. I did it once when I was in college, and it was a health and wellness company, and they ended up having really bad practices, and they went out of business. I tried it again when I was in my late 20s, and I just never had an emotional connection to the products of that company, and I could never get with the way that they shared in a hotel setting. And so in my head, I love the education system. I read Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and Cash Flow Quadrant. In my head, I was going to get my freedom via real estate. One day I was going to take some real estate classes, and I was going to get my freedom that way, because network marketing was not for me. But I just didn't know that you have to have first an emotional connection to that product and that company, and then a great training system. And so here's some other benefits of network marketing that you might not know about. So you can build it part-time and anytime. That is what I love. So I am an extrovert. I am an in-person person. I love our spa parties. I love my weekly classes that we have. But when we went into this period, I did not miss one step when it came to classes. We found a way to convert our perfume party, our spa party, everything we were able to convert online. So I really could build it from anywhere and anytime, even though there was some disruption into how we're living now in the United States with what we have going on. You can launch it for as little as $500 to $1,000. So that's general, any network marketing. With what we're talking about today, Young Living, you can even do it a little bit less than that. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. The way network marketing works is you succeed when you help other people succeed. So the more that you help other people, the more you succeed, and therefore you can expect that there will be someone in your network that will want to help you. Your business partners have a vested interest in you. You can create enough tax deductions alone to make it worthwhile. This is one of the things that I love. At the level that I am with Young Living, I don't necessarily make a high income yet. I'll get there within the next 6 months. But the tax deductions have changed my life. I went through a period where I almost doubled my income in a 5-year period. And if I didn't have a business with tax deductions, I probably would not have saw a lot of that increase. And I've used those tax deductions to get training all over the world with Young Living. You can learn it while you earn it. That's completely different from any other education. If I decided I want to jump industries and I want to get a certification, it might take me 6 months to 2 years and a lot of money to do that. In contrast with network marketing, you can actually start earning while you are learning. You can earn an extra $500, $1,000, $5,000, or even more a month. And with time and success, your income will be produced by hundreds or perhaps thousands of individuals. So those are some of the things that we wanted to share. And with that, we're going to move over to Sheila and her story.
Sorry, I muted myself because we have animals galore. I have 4 dogs. 3 are mine and 1 is my son's. And I didn't want them to bark while we were doing this, so I muted myself. But I'm so happy to be here. I am Sheila Sherman, and I am from Calgary, Alberta. And I just wanted to share a little bit about my story with getting involved with Young Living. A little bit different than Tashina's, which is like really one of the most awesome things about network marketing and the people we meet, we all have a different story, a different reason, a different way that we got involved. With Young Living being a health company, most of us have gotten involved because we had some type of a health challenge that we were able to overcome once we discovered these oils. So if you have some type of a health challenge, no matter what you think about the business portion of this that we're sharing, there is another side of the abundance with Young Living, and that's the abundance of health. So we have the abundance of health, and we have an abundance of wealth to be obtained when you become a part of Young Living and start that journey. My journey started 12 years ago, which I just can't even believe. And 12 years ago, or 12 years later, now I'm just excited about the oils as I was when I first discovered them. And the reason why I first discovered them is because my sister shared with me. And what a blessing. She didn't even know how much that would have blessed my life. How much by introducing me to the oils, how it became a whole lifestyle for me and my family of health, and also being able to support my family from the point of finances. And we all know that right now, finances out in the world, jobs, those types of things are uncertain. You know, everyone's saying these uncertain times. And it's not that we can predict everything in the future, but some things are a little bit more consistent that we can kind of rely on. And right now, with the things that have been going on, it's like, you know, being able to rely on certain things, jobs in particular, it just doesn't, you know, we're kind of up in the air about things. So I just wanted to say that to say, you know, why is it the right time? Why is now the right time? Now is the perfect time. 12 years ago when I got started, I had two major things going on with me. One more recent, like a recent situation, and one was a long-term thing. I used to crack my neck. It doesn't sound bad, right? But literally, I used to crack my neck. I had to grab my head, twist my head, crack my neck, probably 20 times a day, all day. It just was from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed. I just got used to it. I never thought anything would change that. And that's something that I had been going through for 20 years of my life, which sounds crazy, but it just was constant. And so the oils, long story short, put oils on the back of my neck because I was told, just put oils on the back of your neck, any oil. So, but I happen to have actually chosen the oil that helps with skeletal alignment, that helps to align our skeletal system. And so I put that on, neck stopped cracking. That's a very abbreviated story, but that was huge for me. And I was like, okay, wait, what are these oils? Like, what's going on? Because I had no idea the power of the oils. The second thing that happened was I had baby number 6. So I'm a mom of 6 kids at the time, a stay-at-home mom, and I didn't have any ideas that I would start a home-based business. I just like natural things. I've been a crunchy mom for a long time. And so after having baby number 6, I was just not a happy mom. I went into what I believe was probably postpartum, but not absolutely sure because I never was diagnosed or anything like that. But I was sad. I was a sad mom of 6 little kids wondering what the heck is going on? Why do I have all these kids? And I homeschooled them. So it was like, I just couldn't get a break, it seemed. And it did not take long. It took like a week and some days, I don't know. But very short time, I got my energy back and I got my groove back, right? I got my groove to be a mom. I was happy to be a mom again. And then that is when I was sold on the oils. But I hadn't quite decided to do it as a business, to incorporate the business. But what I did do was I just naturally shared because it had done so much for me. I shared with everybody. Like, you couldn't come near me with a cough or a sneeze or a headache or anything without me shoving the oil in your face. And I would just give them away. And my husband said to me, he said, you can't keep giving these oils away. So I thought, okay, well, what can I do? I said, I can start sharing. I can continue to care, continue to share, but also if I set this up as a business, I can also reap some monetary benefits of doing that. And so that is what we do in Young Living. In the business side, we care what's going on. Look at what's going on around us with the current health situation, right? The amount of care that me and my colleagues have right now for what's happening out into society and people is super duper high, and people are looking for solutions, and we have the solution. It's not even like working a business. I'm doing the same thing I did 12 years ago. You have something, I have something that I can share with you, that if you're open to it, then it might be for you. And it might just be the thing you've been looking for. Give it a try. And I do the same thing, except for now I'm able to monetize it. I'll just say the word, monetize it. And then that helps me to be able to share more. That helps me, and that would help you to be able to actually get that time freedom and be able to share more. So I did do it part-time. As Tashina said, I did it while I was raising my kids. I did it while I was homeschooling my kids, and I could work it around my schedule. And that is the beauty of the business. So we're going to talk about some more things. That's just a brief thing about my story, just to share with everybody. You'll see up there, equine massage therapist. I became a horse massage therapist because of oils, everybody. That was nothing on my radar at all that I was ever going to do. And it's interesting how the wonderful turns that your life takes with when you go into a home-based business, something that you love. So I'm going to talk about some myths, because there are a lot of myths out there. And so myth number one, getting in on the ground floor is the best path to success in network marketing. Well, it is a path, it is a way. With anything and everything, there's some benefits, there's some pros, there's some cons. On the con side about you guys probably don't see me that great. Hold on. Decline. Sorry, everybody, a call came in. What's on the side of where it's not the best with the ground floor opportunity or company is it has no record of longevity. You have no idea if it's going to last past 5 years, 10 years, or 1 year even. And with network marketing, it is not a get rich quick scheme, as we'll talk about in another myth. It's not that. It is just like a job that needs to be treated like a job or a business. It's just like a business. It takes consistency. It takes work. It takes skill, acquiring skill. The benefits far outweigh what I think some of the benefits that you can get from other companies, or starting other businesses. However, it takes time. That's true with anything worth anything. And so if you get in on the ground floor and you get started and 5 years, that company doesn't last, then essentially you've lost that time. You can always gain time back, but you've lost that time. Young Living is a 25-year company in existence for 25 years. We just celebrated 25 years. And the longevity is there, not only because we are in North America, but because we are all over the world. And so it has proven to have that longevity because the products work, because the model works, and because the company, Young Living, is stellar at what it does. So that is really what I think people want to look for is that longevity. It's very important. The next myth is network marketing is an opportunity for someone who is not doing well financially to make a lot of money. So what's the myth in that? Because it is true that if we're not doing well, we can make a lot of money. The myth in that is that it can just be done just because you joined a network marketing company. And almost that's the only criteria. But as I mentioned in the last one, there is work involved. But let me just touch on what the work is. The work is, oh, I can help you with that. I have an oil for that. Oh, let me share something that I know with you and send a text or send a link or whatever that is. That's my work. It takes work. It takes consistency. But when you love it, it just doesn't feel like work. Homeschool 6 kids, that feels like work, okay? But Young Living does not feel like work. I did love homeschooling my kids, but it was still work. Okay, myth number 3. You succeed by being in the right place at the right time. And again, I just want to emphasize that there are systems to put in place. There are things to do. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. The right place at the right time to me means you got in at the beginning, or you got in at the ground level, or that's the right time. The right time is now. The right time is now, while people are looking for solutions in a way that we may not have ever seen in our lifetimes, everybody. It's a new thing, and Young Living and network marketing fulfills both health with Young Living, but also people's financial needs. And so it is success by knowing when the right time is and being able to move and take action on something that could benefit your family today. And then the big guys make all the money off the little guy. Again, another myth. And what I have to say about that is, if we look at any business model, people just coming in don't necessarily make what people who have already been in the business, already have been building, so to speak, and have seniority, et cetera, et cetera. The difference is between network marketing and typical businesses is sometimes you can work to your fullest potential and you may not still reach the top of the rung, so to speak. And that is not, that is a model of where people's productivity, there are people benefiting off of other people's productivity. I think that's where that myth comes from, right? Well, in network marketing, we actually benefit each other. There's no big guy that makes all the money, little person that doesn't make any, doesn't make as much money. They're making money off of us. We are all, we benefit each other. It's a cycle. And you'll have to see that in our compensation plan, but it is a cycle where your efforts, you're going to be paid for your efforts, period. And the person that may be above you, if that person, this is in network marketing in general, if that person is not working, you can move above. I'm kind of using my hands, and I'm realizing you guys can't actually see me, but you're moving above. You can move. And it's not about being above or below or anything like that, but it's your efforts. That's the point that I want to, you will be rewarded for your efforts. There's no not being rewarded for your efforts, because the compensation plan is straightforward and clear that if you do this, you will receive this. And so it's very important to realize that in a network marketing company, and especially in Young Living, that we are not held back in any type of way from moving forward and moving ahead, and that we work as teams in order to all benefit each other. And I love that part of it. So I'm doing why health and wellness. look, I mean, there's a lot of things on this chart. I'm just going to mention a couple things, but really, seriously, let's just look around us right now. And there's no better time for health and wellness right now. When our present situation first started, because we are health and wellness, we were considered essential from the beginning. And that is because our health, our supplements, and the things that we provide are something, and we are online business. It provides still what we need for sustenance and something that's necessary for our society. And so it was definitely something, if we know that people they're looking for these solutions. But it wasn't just now, right? The global wellness market reached approximately, or was expected to reach 4.7 trillion in 2019. 4.7 trillion in 2019. So this was even before our current situation. And I know for myself that I had more and more people contacting me and seeking solutions once this got started. But even prior to that, if without our health, what are we, right? What can we do without our health? I used to say, when I was doing some brain training on the brain and teaching people about the brain, I was like, well, what can you do without your brain, right? Nothing. Well, what can you do without your health? And so that health and wellness market is huge. When you're looking for a network marketing company or home-based business, you will already be ahead of the curve. Health and wellness industry growth rate is 6.4, and it includes categories like complementary medicine, preventative medicine, healthy eating, nutrition, weight loss, spa, economy, physical activity, personal care, beauty, anti-aging, and more. And guess what? Everything that I named there, Young Living is representation of all of those products. And so just briefly to emphasize is that the health movement has been picking up for over the last couple of decades, and people are realizing and being more empowered to take care of their health, and they're seeking solutions. And if we have something that people can find, we have solutions for people. People want that information, they want the products. Why Young Living? I'm going to drink a little water. I hope everybody's keeping their water intake up. Why Young Living? Well, I could name a million reasons why Young Living, but we're just going to go with what's on our slide today. We own our own farms. And the significance of that is because we own our own farms, we also have the quality control and the ability to reach the qualifications or the quality that we're looking for when we are producing oils that are going to render the highest medicinal, what's the word I'm looking for? Give me the word, Tashina. Results. Simple word, it just wouldn't come out. Highest medicinal results. And so there aren't other essential oils companies that own their own farms. So this is actually very, very significant. And these farms are in strategic locations around the world. We are the industry's leading research and testing seed to seal promise. So seed to seal, you can look that up in more detail, seedtoseal.com. Look that up. We promise, and it's unmatched in the industry. We have the promise that we take every step from seed to seal with rigorous training to be able to make sure that the quality that is being put out and given out to the world, which I believe is a gift to the world, is of the highest and best quality. And we will not Again, I've been with Young Living half the time that Young Living has been in existence, and we will not put out a product that is not up to standard. I mentioned the 25 years of experience. We mentioned the low startup costs. And I'll just say a quick thing about that is that there are a lot of home-based business opportunities that I see you have to spend well above the $500 to get started. $500 is the minimum to get started in a lot of companies, not everyone, but a lot up there. And we have low startup costs. Depending on your starter kit that you decide to get started with, it is definitely affordable. And then the largest selection of essential oils, oil-infused products, and toxic-free lifestyle brands. So what do we mean by oil? We know essential oils, right? They're the lifeblood of the plant, and they are the oils that we use that have the aromatic ability as well as topical to be able to render health results in your body. But what are oil-infused products? So what Young Living does is we have supplements, as I mentioned on the last slide, and they are infused, the oils in supplements. The oils are infused in our healthcare products. The oils are infused in, I think, every single product we have, except for maybe the food, because we actually have food as well, healthy foods. And so, but it means that it's a part of that product. And why? Why does Young Living do that? It has been shown that we will absorb nutrients 24% more absorbability when oils are added to that. You can even add that into your food and have nutrients absorbed more. So that is what an oil-infused product is. And then, of course, toxic-free lifestyle. This is something that is, again, more and more people are getting concerned about the toxins that are in their personal care products, in our foods, in our air, in our water. And so our products help us to live with less chemicals. So that is why Young Living.
Alrighty, thank you so much. Now we are going to turn it over to the amazing Lydia Riley, and she is going to share her perspective and her story and why she is so passionate about this business.
Guys, thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story. Pardon my coworker. He should be pretty good, but you know, that's part of working at home. My name is Lydia Ojuka Riley, and I just have a really interesting story about Young Living that I often love to share. The reason why it's interesting, it's just kind of a very different angle than most people you know, join the business from. The exposure that I had to the business first came from being married to the former chief sales officer of Young Living. So I'm married to Ben Riley. He's a former global chief sales officer of Young Living. And what the global chief sales officer does is a lot of things in-house, but a big part of his job, because the company is a huge global company, is to travel all around the world and to support the members at the rallies, the conferences, the conventions, and the incentive trips, which I really grew to love. He really travels a lot, probably 60, maybe 70% of the time while he was at Young Living. And they are such a family-focused company at corporate, and so you know, just passionate about making sure that the lifestyle can still be really doable, that they, as part of the benefit of this job, is they give your family some travel benefits as well. So at the time I had a corporate job. We kind of made a game plan. I got my real estate license just because there was a few different interests in that segment. And the reason I did that was so that I could take full advantage of all of this amazing traveling that they offered me. And so I went to Belize, I went to Honduras, I went to Australia, Darwin and the Gold Coast. I went to London, I went to Prague, I went all over France to Nice, Marseille, Provence, Paris. I went to Banff, Toronto. I listen, I took full advantage. I did what everybody would freaking do in that situation. And you got to figure out how you can get on those planes and get on those trips, right? And this experience was pretty life-changing in a lot of different ways. Just to kind of paint a picture for you about what Young Living does at some of these incentive trips in particular. I was in Spain about a year ago, and we hot air ballooned across the Spanish countryside. That was it wasn't a corporate perk. This was a membership reward. And I got to experience it again, just because I was a corporate guest at the time. We also flew private to Banff, Canada for a private concert with, I think, 4-time Grammy Award winner John Mayer. He did a concert right in front of us, front row, took our freaking requests. It was outstanding, amazing. We also got a photo op. I've met Carrie Underwood. She was at a convention 2 years ago, and I got to meet her, but she flew in just so she could sing and do her powerhouse ballads for Young Living in particular, or specifically. Did you know Young Living owns a castle in France? I know, because I went to it in Provence. I hung out with the farm manager. We had some stinky cheese and some delicious wine. And it was like, is this the most French experience that I've ever had? Now, listen, if you had those experiences, you might feel the same kind of passion that I did, because what I walked away with was, this is such an incredible company. And these are life-changing experiences. And this is just what they do for the members that are part of their kind of brand ambassadorship. And I'd like to break it down in 3 ways. So it really changed my life in 3 ways. The first thing, I got to see the world. I've already kind of shared about that, but just so you know and have a further understanding, I never traveled anywhere. I was a single mom with I have a 12-year-old daughter for 10 years. And frankly, was just too poor to travel anywhere. I never went anywhere. And so the fact that I was able to see the world because of this generous company was pretty incredible. And, you know, you don't have to be somebody that is desperate to travel, but that certainly is a benefit if that is something that you want to enjoy in your life. The second thing that I got to do was to experience seed to seal. Now, we already kind of covered that a little bit. Sorry about that. We already kind of covered seed to seal a little bit, but that's basically Young Living's quality guarantee. It's their quality assurance. It's that they take full responsibility of these seeds that are from the time they're planted into the ground, through the entire way that they're grown, through harvesting, through distillation. For example, the way I want to say it is they're psychotic about their quality. Okay. So for example, just the dirt that they put these seeds in, it has to be pesticide free for 50 years before Young Living is even interested in owning that farm. They're the only company that owns their farm. Just so you know how psychotic that standard is, the USDA organic label, you only need 5 years of pesticide free soil in order to have that label on your products. And Young Living goes for 50 years. So I really, really got a good look at, and at every farm, you know, this isn't just a perk that they gave to corporate guests. This is something that every member, even if I live about 20 minutes from Young Living and they have a farm locally here, I could take a bunch of friends and you could tour this farm and you could do your thing, because they're basically so interested in showing off their standards to anyone that's interested in learning about it. And what that does for the end product is that basically not all oils are created equal. These oils are far more superior than any oil that is in any one of those steps, distilled rapidly and quickly and cheaply. So many people put synthetics and fillers in their oils just so that they can cut the cost, because it can be, you know, expensive to produce high quality plant matter. So I got to experience seed to seal firsthand. Each one of these trips we went to had a local farm. They build those incentive trips around the farm so that you could put your feet on the ground, so you could walk through the throw rows of plant matter so that you could experience seed to seal. And that was something that was truly life-changing. Plus, let's be honest, during my husband's time there, already was starting to accumulate a long list of product requests, because that's also a perk that I got, was just free products. And so I was regularly, hey, can you get me some lavender? Hey, I need some peppermint. Why don't you just go ahead and make it like 5 peppermints? And like, I was putting orders in regularly anyway at that point. The third thing that I got to see firsthand with my own 2 eyes were the people. Okay. And I don't know about you. I just didn't have a long list of millionaires, or, you know, a long extensive list of 6-figure earners or multiple 6-figure earners per year. What I'm saying, and what I try to be really polite about the way that I say this, but I met some really rich ladies, and I know some really rich ladies now as a result of
Can you guys hear me? Okay, okay, so it's her that's frozen.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she got kicked off? Okay. At first I thought maybe I was frozen, but I think it was her. Okay, she was getting to the pinnacle. We'll give it 1 minute to see if she can hop back on for us.
I just wanted to say, as she was speaking about these incentive trips, I have, as part of my Young Living career, also experienced some of the incentive trips, and the farms, which is really encouraged for us to take part in the harvesting, even the cultivating at certain times, and be able to learn what goes on the farms, and how our products are produced, the essential oils are produced. And that is a huge benefit that you will not find anyplace else. Plus, it's super fun. And so a couple of the trips that I've been on. Oh, good. We'll hand it right back over to her.
I have no idea what happened. I just got bumped off or something. I don't know. I was finishing off by just talking about, you know, how much I kind of started to realize that this opportunity really, really worked from a financial standpoint because of all of these trips, because of all of the people that I had the opportunity to meet. Not only the money, because I do think that that is really, really, you know, obviously that's really compelling, right? But also the freedom of time. You know, my you know, husband and I are certainly in a position where we both built our careers to a point where we really could, you know, just work and work and work. And whatever point we hit that number that we have, you know, retire and have, you know, your typical retirement. What I was able to see through Young Living was that freedom of time is actually available a lot sooner than your average retirement if you're willing to do that side hustle and do the work to kind of plug the products into your daily life right now. The last thing I just want to mention is that I'm a marketer. I studied marketing in college, and after college, I went into internet marketing. I did search engine optimization. I did a bunch of blog marketing for people at this, and then more recently, I had a corporate job where I was doing the social media, and I kind of turned that into my own brand, and I was able to build up my own audience and build up my own personal brand. From the standpoint of a marketer, if you can think of this as an influencer, if you can think of it as a brand ambassadorship, it's as simple as this. I have products that I love. If I love the product, whether or not I'm getting paid for it, I'm going to shout it out. I'm going to shout it out all the time. I can't help myself. I'm just a sharer, and that's what I do. Okay. But it's even better, and I'm getting to the point now where I reach out to a brand. Hey, I don't wear anything but your shoes. I love these shoes. If you've got an affiliate program, if you have a brand ambassadorship, I'm interested. And a lot of brands are moving in that direction. They're not going for those high paid commercials for the Super Bowl or other standard. They're not pulling out newspaper ads. What they're doing is looking for individuals who are raving fans of their product, because you're going to give the most authentic voice to your experience. That's simply the way that I plug Young Living into my personal brand. I'm running it alongside everything that I love. And since I'm oily, since I love using my essential oils, I use them every day. All of my purses, just empty them, and there's oils falling out of every pocket. You know, I love my essential oils and I use them all the time. So I just turn that into a sharing opportunity. The difference is it's in my social media, and I'm not just talking one-on-one with somebody. You know, I'm talking with a few hundred people, maybe a few thousand people. And the opportunity to share is just that much bigger. What we're seeing from corporate and what I've learned from, you know, from the time that my husband was there, not that we talk about people's numbers or anything like that, but that the fastest growing teams, hey, guess what? They're doing it online. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'm going to tell you though, that if you know how to use your social media, whether or not you have 100, 300, 500 followers, or a few, several thousand followers, you have an opportunity to share in front of your audience in a really authentic way, because these oils you love these oils, right? So, you know, I just find that it's kind of a no-brainer. When my husband left, I waited till he left until I got my kit. And I was like, okay, boom, I'm in this. And, you know, I know that I'm running after some pretty big goals. So I put a lot of time into it. But even as a side hustle, it's something that can really, really benefit you in the short term. Give it a few years, planting those seeds. And this is something that can build a tremendous long-term residual income.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Lydia. And with that, did you have anything else to add?
Nope, I do not. And I have to take off. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Keep talking, but I love you guys. And, you know, hopefully this is something that can help you take action, this class.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to close us out. I'm going to tell a little bit more of my story. And so part of my story, the middle of it, before I got here, I started in the automotive industry in 2004. And so I went through that recession that we talked about. I went through that 2008 to 2010 period. And the automotive industry was one of the industries that was hit the hardest. At the time, my then husband and I were both in the automotive industry. And so he lost his job. I was threatened with losing my job, and we almost lost our house because there was a change in income. And so we decided then, number one, to diversify. So he went into the healthcare industry. And number two, I went out and I found a better job. I said, right now I'm making $40,000. I need to make at least $60,000 because I got to make up for some stuff. And I ended up getting a job for $70,000 because I said, this will never happen to me again. So that crisis, because I took action and I didn't wait, propelled me to be a six-figure earner. So if you think about that first slide again, a lot of people lost in 2008. Michigan was so hit hard. So many people moved out. People lost their jobs. People lost their homes. But some people, like myself, actually won because we took action. And other people won big because they became millionaires or billionaires because they took action when there was a need. So right now, I am not all the way where I want to be because I'm working for my freedom, but that is going to happen within the next 12 months. But I have had so many benefits in the meantime. In the past year, I went on an Alaskan cruise. I went to the farm in Croatia. I've been to Mexico, and it was all tax deductible because it was training. It was training that was for my business, and it was amazing. I would have never went to any of those places if it wasn't for Young Living. And to have it as a tax write-off is just such a benefit. And I've realized, and it was in the moment of frustration that I realized this. When I put $200 on my Kenyan team member's account and just to get them some samples, I realized that Young Living has already brought me my dream job, because I currently have teams in Sweden, in Mexico, in Ecuador, in Africa. And so I get to introduce these products into new markets. These products are not in most of Africa. These products are only in 5 different countries in Latin America, and I speak Spanish. These products really are not diffused into the African American market very well. They don't know that we have some of the best makeup and some of the best skincare, and they don't know exactly how to use essential oils. So I actually already have my dream job, and I am 100% confident that within the next year, I will get to the other level of freedom that I want to have. So I want to challenge you guys again to make that decision and to act. So what does that mean? That means that if you are not yet part of the Young Living family and you are watching this video later or you're on here, get your kit right away. Ask, how do I get that training? And get your ticket to convention. Because convention accelerates your training so fast. That cuts off a year of your training. I promise you that it will be worth it. We had a training today from an individual that said she made $450 a week, but she knew she had to have her oils and get started and knew she needed Ninja. And so she sold stuff in her house. I know Dana sold stuff in her house to get to South Africa. Whatever you need to do to get started and to get your convention ticket, you want to have it. I did not go to my first convention in 2015, and I did not go to the first Latin American convention in 2017, and I regret it with all of my being, and I would already have my freedom if I would have went to those. I promise you I would. So I'm telling you, do not cut off. You will still get there, but if you would like to cut a year or two off of that time of getting there, get to convention. So if you're already part of the Young Living family, figure out how can I go to your upline. If you need, I will give a loan to anybody on my team to get convention. That's how important it is to me. So if you, anytime that you have a problem, make sure that you go to your upline. That's what we're for. That's what we talked about, right? I succeed when my downline succeeds. So if you have an issue, go to your upline, silver or gold, and say, hey, I really want to get to convention. Is there anything that I can do? Is there anything that we can work out in order to make that happen? So with that, I want to turn it over to questions. Sheila, if you want to continue to talk a little bit more about the lifestyle as well, but if anybody has any questions, we can do both of those two things.
I'll talk until the questions come up. And it's just something that you said that that is a huge word right now, is diversify. And I think I was trying to get that out of my head and to get, to actually say, and it just wasn't coming out at the time I was speaking, but that to diversify our income. People have heard it said, another stream of income. And it's important, and we know now that it's a strategy. It's a money strategy to have a second stream of income. When that crash happened that you talk about between 2008 and 2010, that is when my husband's business started kind of going downhill, basically, until he finally had to close it. And had I not started with Young Living and had my base with Young Living, then we literally would have had no income coming in when he closed his business. And so it's a way of protecting ourselves, as well as a way of getting that freedom that you talk about, Tashina. You're saying, getting my freedom, right? We mean time freedom. We mean the other things that you may be passionate about that you might not be doing because you don't have time or because you don't have the money to do. That is what a home-based business can do for you. That's what it's done for me and my family, and has allowed us to just travel where we needed to travel with our kids without restraint. I mean, I'm not saying we spent $1 million when we went out, but we were pretty, pretty good to go out and have things be a tax write-off, as we said. So it's a strategy, it's a money strategy that I believe that everyone should implement in their portfolio, in their strategy for acquiring the things that you want, both monetarily and also non-monetary benefits. Did we have a question come in at all, Tashina? Did you see?
Yeah, just to answer them audibly. So convention was extended to the 17th. So you still are, and I love Young Living because they do amazing stuff like that. For those of us that do have a team, that means that we will probably have our check in hand and we can still go get our ticket. So the other question that was business related was, can you level up at any time? Yeah, level up and double up actually is your monthly goal. You want to actually have the goal, whether you hit it or not, to get 4 people signed up every month on Essential Rewards. That hit statistically, the company has proven the teams that can do that on a regular basis, all of the 5 or 10% of those teams that say I'm building the business actively, if you double up month after month, that is how you get momentum and that is how you get growth. That's where that plan comes from. So that should be the goal for everyone that's on this call, actually. Okay, and the Mia, yes. So I've been told directly from corporate that you get a ticket. So those of you who are in different time zones or working a job, you will see the recordings in your virtual office until August 21st. Any other questions? All righty. Dana, did you have another question?
No, I don't have any other questions.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, we will close this out. The replay will be available in the event for you to share with anyone that may need this information. And if you haven't done so, let me grab it right quick. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel because we will continue to bring you this awesome education on a regular basis. And that's where you can always find the replays. Like I was saying earlier, for those that were on, I'm super excited about like the event we're doing on the 29th. And we just want to make sure that everybody gets all the education that they need. So thank you guys once again for your time and look forward to seeing you guys on the next educational opportunity. Have an amazing evening. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night.
Good night. Thanks again. Have a great weekend.